Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, and I'm here live on my new network, which is all about being a high vibe. So it's called High Vibe TV. And of course, I'm doing this also live on the Leo King network. So it's been a couple weeks since I did a live, or maybe it was last week, I don't remember. But you know, I'm shifting a lot of things with the Leo King and some of these new networks, and I'm going to be doing a lot of my live content on High Vibe TV. So if you haven't liked High Vibe TV yet, make sure that you go ahead and like that. Now, what is High Vibe TV and what is this all going to be about? Well, a lot of this is going to be about, well, the best way to describe it would be creating a network in which I can talk about spirituality, but be more open, not be so tied to just astrology. I know a lot of you watch me for astrology, but I like to tie not only the tool of astrology in with other modalities, whether it's conspiracy theories, channeled information, but all, of course, with the derivative to come to positive vibes and a positive outlook. And especially because I know where the astrology is over the next 3 to 5 years especially, high vibe is going to be extremely important for what's really going on right now. So I think it's going to be a network. It's not going to only just be me, but there'll be other people that'll come on. But it'll be a network that will really tie into bringing a positive vibe every day, bringing in a different energy, talking about the news, bringing up different energy sources. So I'm excited about it. I put a lot of work and a lot of time into building this, and we're really close to launching, just like Future Life, my new app, which will be where I do horoscopes and where I do more precise horoscope aspects in astrology, which will be on Future Life, my new network. But so that's to kind of give you a little bit of what's going on there. But you know, it's interesting. If I were to talk about like what today's episode is all about, today's episode is literally all about the new change in the frequency that we're in. And what is that change of frequency? That change of frequency is extremely internalized right now. It's not a very externalized frequency as far as how we're feeling it in ourselves. Like we're almost like so, I don't want to say overwhelmed inside, but there are massive changes in the frequency level, just especially through the holidays and the beginning of this new year that just happened, that have been pretty intense, to where a lot of people, and I don't want to say this in a negative way, but I want to say it in a truth way, that the energy is very bland, okay? So even though there's a lot of growth happening for us all and a lot of character building, this is an extreme frequency range right now that is coming into everybody that is so extreme on the inside and forcing us all to change how we deal with our external world in a more internal way. So it puts a lot of pressure on our internal self. It puts a lot of pressure on how we deal with things internally. So what does that mean? Well, number one, stress. Stress comes up because our internalization of the universe and our internalization of the world that surrounds us is going through such a place to where we're really out there. And it's because there's this new external reality forming, and it's almost like we have to kind of like gears connect to each other. The externalization is so intense at the same time that our internalization is not vibing too well with how to connect. It's taking some time, and I think what we're realizing is patience, you know, like patience is the biggest part of it all. Like I think patience is such a huge part of this new frequency that it's stressful when, you know, we're wanting to change things externally and we're wanting to connect to it, but it's just, well, there's this and then there's that. And I think what we're also learning is the levels of frequencies that come. So if you don't know what a frequency is, I mean, a frequency, literally our heart beats frequencies, our brain emits frequencies. They are literal channels of information. I mean, that would be the basic way that I could describe a frequency, whether that information is visual, audio, or even multidimensional in many forms. But because we are going through such a shift on the Earth frequency range, in the cosmic frequency range, and the human collective frequency range, and then now that comes to your individual, you're overwhelmed with how many layers of frequencies are emitting at you at the same time. And then add on top of it things like electricity and things like that are happening with what we're seeing with the internet and stuff like that. I mean, it becomes like, oh my gosh, there's so many damn frequencies going on. You can kind of get a little bit overwhelmed. And I think that we're at a time right now where that overwhelming frequency range is hard to deal with. And so how do we deal with it internally? Well, I think one part of it is, a lot of it is having to, it's not the easiest, but really shutting off everything that's going on and taking breaks internally. I think a lot of it is not being hard on yourself, because when you are changing frequency ranges, it feels like you're doing something wrong when you're not. That's the big one I want to hit. It feels like you're doing something wrong when you're not. And you know what? I am like the first person that always feels like I am doing something wrong. And sometimes I have to look back and go, wait, what's the real deal going on here? And what it is you're adjusting to it. And so there's nothing wrong with it. You're going through the adjustment period. And so think of it like, and you know what? I'm going to bust out a little bit of astrology for you all right now, because I know a lot of people are wanting to see. So let me make sure that this thing is working here. All right. And so the way that this is looking, and I just did literally the astrology chart for this moment right now, okay? So if you look at this, let's just take a look. Mars is in the underworld. Jupiter is in the underworld of Scorpio, okay? Saturn, Mercury, Pluto, the Sun, Venus, Neptune, and Chiron are all in signs that deal with the lower dimensions of consciousness. Doesn't mean that they're negative or bad or low meaning a negative way. Just they are the end zoned, right? It's the ending areas. Literally, if we look at these, I would say that about 90% of our energy is in this more deeper under energy. And when you take a look at the Sun and Venus and Pluto and Neptune and Chiron, and even you add Mercury and Saturn to the mix, these three signs, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, deal with the winter. So when you're dealing with the winter, you know, it's kind of a winter of the soul. You know, it's kind of a, I don't want to call it a dark night of the soul, because I don't think it's anything like that. But I think it's a lot quieter, and we want to be fulfilled more. You got to remember that the planet Mercury, which this week is literally in the next day coming in conjunction with Pluto, but Mercury has been literally not happy. If you just go back and let's just take it back months, okay? Let's take it back months. So let's go to last month in December. Oh, where was Mercury? In detriment, in Sagittarius, where it doesn't like to be. Let's take it back another month, okay? When Mercury was, again, in detriment, conjunct Saturn. Let's look at that. November 23rd, all the way to December 23rd, all the way to January 23rd. We're talking about multiple months of Mercury not being happy. Let's even go back one more month when Mercury was getting ready to come back. So this has been about almost 3 months, okay, that Mercury has not been happy, okay? And the reason why I say that is now Mercury's in Capricorn, which, I'll be honest with you, it's not the happiest place for Mercury to be. It met up with Saturn again, where it kind of stops things. It makes things sober. It makes things feel kind of bland. I always call it the white rice, you know. It kind of feels like you're eating white rice all day. And then on top of it, now it's coming on top of Pluto, which is a sign that's very intense. And yes, Mercury likes to be a detective, but Mercury's tired. Mercury wants to go into an air sign where it can fiddle around and it can move around and it can joke around and it can be the jester, it can socialize. And so when it comes to socialization, I'm just going to be very honest with everybody. This is one of the weaker times for socialization, you know, that we've seen. Now the good news is Mercury's about to sextile Jupiter, which is about to happen this week. So there'll be more, I think, socialization with the moon in Gemini and Jupiter, which is going to come really fast. So I feel, you know, like out of nowhere, like coming into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like there's a lot of energy that's moving towards more socializing. It'll be the first time that we've felt it in a while. I really think that everything is felt, I don't want to use this term, but the word dead comes up. It almost kind of feels like, you know, when the trees and the leaves fall and everything kind of stalls. And you know what's ironic? The biggest irony that's going on with this feeling of dead is that the universe right now and the amount of energy that is moving forward is at an all-time high. So we are moving into new energy. But at the same token, I think what it is we are so far away from what is old, it feels like we're almost like it's like we haven't fully let go of the old energy and it's dead and it's dying. And so there's a little bit of this frequency emission that's changing, you know, all in all. And so I think that's like the biggest interesting part of it all to me, because personally, when I think about how is this frequency change affecting us all? And when I really think about it in a really kind of odd way, I would say that a lot of this is, you know, you can't see the great results while you're in the middle of the great results happening. So let me put that again. You really can't see how great things are in the middle of the greatness at the moment, because there's so many levels and, you know, dimensions of things that are changing. So it's kind of an interesting thing to think about. But I think that it's a good thing. And I think that we all need to really stop, and I hate to use the term smell the roses right now, but I think that that's a big thing to kind of go, well, wait, let me take a look around and see that all the structures are building. And sure, you know, sometimes it takes a long time for a tree to grow. But if that tree's taking a while to grow, you know, it kind of can be frustrating. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, yeah. And I think that the energy kind of is that way in a weird way too. So it's interesting to see. I'm actually going to go in the chat room and see what people are saying up in here right now. Yo. I like to check in on the chat because, you know, first things first, it's like the chat room, I like to hear what everybody's saying. I want to know what everybody's feeling. So some people are saying that they are feeling the stall out, even though what's ironic is that we're not stalled. It almost could feel like we're like a car stalled out on a freaking trailer, or like a big, the best way I would describe it would be like a big semi-truck, but the semi-truck's taking us at 1,000,000 miles an hour, but we're in the car that's stalled. It's weird. It's just a weird way to put it, you know. So somebody had put they felt weird and drained. I think that's an extremely great aspect. So I don't think it's any irony as well that if we look at all the energy that's happened since the beginning of the new year with the flu virus is the worst it's been in God knows how long. You know what's interesting? I had the flu 3 weeks ago, and I thought I was over with it, and then the last 3 days I felt like I had the flu all over again. It was horrible. I'm like, is this the adjustment? What is this? Or is it just a physical thing of just a scientific thing of the flu? I think it's a combination of a lot of things, but I think that, you know, with the stuff that's going down right now, oh man, it's just, it's pretty crazy, you know, there's so much. And of course, we have somebody say, I feel like we're just starting to pick up. It's just unraveling. I feel amazing. And I think it's right. I think this is an amazing moment. That's why this whole message today is realizing, don't feel weird if you feel like something's off or it's not aligning right or not, because it is. It's just, it's so many layers of so many new frequencies and such a new chapter. And this new chapter doesn't come in with horns going and drama. You got to remember that when Saturn came into Scorpio 5 years ago, okay, and near the 2012 cycle, and with all the things that I can go on for hours. I've already done this. If you've been watching this channel, I've been talking about this for years. It was dramatic. Scorpio's a dramatic sign. It's dramatic. You know, it's super, you know, dramatic, right? Okay, and then we had the solar eclipses in Leo, with trine Uranus. There's a lot of drama that we had in 2017. And then we come into 2018 and yeah, I mean, there's some drama, but Capricorn and Aquarius and everything is kind of more like a little bit more detached and just kind of everything's lower and underground and more, you know, stirring. And so it's not so, you know, I would use the analogy, it would be like buying a new car and getting the new car and the next day not wanting to run and go jump into it. It would be kind of like, oh, got my new car, you know? And it's exciting and it's great. And I think that there's a lot of us that are moving into, how do we get that excitement back, you know? Because everything, and let's actually turn, let's turn back to what I see with the chart again, because when I look at this chart, I mean, everything's heading towards the south node now, if you see. So the south node's at 14 degrees of Aquarius, and here comes Venus, here comes the sun, and here come the eclipses. Remember, the eclipses are going to start literally really soon. They're coming up here January 31st and February 15th, so on Valentine's Day or the day after. So it's going to be interesting to see, and there are no full moons happening in February either. So, you know, enjoy this lunar eclipse full moon in Leo. Things are about to turn on very powerfully, very quick, especially in the more positive, especially in the more, you know, kind of dramatic vibrational energy, with a lunar eclipse in Leo, with Mars moving into Sagittarius. The drama's coming back. Yeah, you know, those Sagittarius and Leos are drama queens and kings. And, you know, the drama's coming back. And I think that a lot of people have been waiting for some drama in their life, right, to come back. I think that it's been good to stable us all out. So I want to say a good thing about the stabilization in the non-dramatic times has been, it has been extremely grounding. It has been extremely readjusting, seeing where the problems are. You know, one thing about being dramatic, and I know this like personally, because I'm an extremely dramatic person. I'm not gonna lie, I'm super dramatic, is you don't see your problems in the middle of drama at all. Like, you don't see them at all. You're just like totally unraveled in, yeah, I'm doing this, or yeah, I'm doing that, yeah, la, 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 la. And you kind of like, you know, get into Adrian, you know, kind of pull a little bit of a Sylvester Stallone, you know? And everything's like, hey. You don't see the issues going on in your life. Or if you do see the issues in your life, you know what happens is you don't pay attention to them. The drama is more important, right? So when we get angry, or we get excited, or we get, you know, really intense in love, or we get really intense in something, but all those like grounded basic functionalities of those frequency levels turn off, or we avoid them completely. So it's something to think about. It's something to kind of go, oh, like, I don't know, maybe it's been good. Maybe it's been good for the drama internally to kind of stop and to have you see kind of what the problems are. And to have you see like, oh yeah, like maybe I have been a little bit too overdramatic. Maybe I have been kind of involving myself in so many kind of extroverted, more intense frequency levels that I've been avoiding kind of the more very basic foundations of life. And I think that that's where we're at, is you've been given a huge opportunity through this beginning of the new year to really ground, stop, and see what's important. And you know what? Even though we get excited about things, and trust me, don't get me wrong, I am excited about a million things in my life right now. But the seriousness of understanding what it's going to take to make those exciting things happen in my life are outdoing the excitement itself. And you know, I think we're used to, as society, especially when you look at the frequencies that happen in media, the frequencies that we get with television, the frequencies that we get with TV shows, the frequencies that we get with mind control in those areas, are kind of bringing us into this kind of really weird spot where I think a lot of the frequencies are so used to consuming information like right away, consuming things right at the moment, and then we just are so used to having an instant hit of gratification or an instant hit that things are going to work out right. I mean, I literally can drive through Burger King and order a chicken sandwich, a hamburger, fries, and a drink and have it in 2 minutes. Hot and ready and in my mouth while I'm driving to wherever I gotta go. I mean, if you actually think about that on a really long scale, if you actually go, oh my gosh, and you really start to ponder, we're in a world where our frequency is just ready for things to happen instantaneously, ready to come into our life right away. I could go, I'm married now, but you know, back in the day it was like I could go on Tinder and just boom, in a second, have some chick come over and hook up with her. It was like, what else do you want in the world? Oh wait, I could now order food and have it delivered to my house. I could have Cheesecake Factory delivered to my house, pork chop with mashed potatoes and green beans on it. Oh wait, I really want some soap, but I don't want to go to Target. I'll just Amazon it and it will show up every month on subscription. So you gotta think that we have mastered the frequency of instant gratification, and we have mastered the frequency of this externalization of getting the things that make us feel happy and getting the way that we want to. But what we haven't mastered, or we need to remaster again, because I actually think we have mastered this as a human consciousness and a collective consciousness, is framework of integrity of self, slowing down, making sure all your ducks are in a row, taking care of the things that are not instant gratification. They take a long time. They take building. This set, you cannot buy this set on Amazon. I can't buy this set at tvsets.com. This thing was hand built with my family and my friends, and this thing took weeks. Multiple trips. We're talking like 12 trips to Lowe's or Home Depot, and multiple days and weekends to build this. And it's not exciting, it's like you gotta do the work. These are the things in which the cycle is changing in our lives now, is building not just physical things, but literally starting to actually go, I have to start to know how to do things that aren't instant gratification anymore. And this goes especially, I think, with love. And I'm going to actually kind of bring the love aspect up, especially with this Valentine's Day. Do you think it's a coincidence that this Valentine's Day there's a solar eclipse and it's a new moon in Aquarius, so the moon will be in Aquarius and the sun on Valentine's Day? I've talked about this a lot, but Valentine's Day is one of the weirdest days for love ever, because it's in the sign that doesn't deal with love. It's in the sign that deals with friendship. So Valentine's Day never feels as romantic as it usually does, because we go through this huge trying to be something instead of the actual form of true love, which is not doing acts of service that are required, but ones that come out of a genuine place, right? That Leo is the opposite of Aquarius. And we have the North Node here, and there's this big lunar eclipse leading up to this. But have you ever felt like, it's like when you do Valentine's Day, it doesn't feel like the same as maybe your anniversary or the same as like your honeymoon? It's because Valentine's Day is at a time in where we need to find our common ground between people, deal with our issues and find ways to overcome them, find ways to move forward in life. I've always thought of Valentine's Day as kind of a nice check to see if what areas do we need to work on in life and figure out. It's much more Aquarian, But Valentine's, like all the holidays, they go with the sign. I mean, let's use a basic one like Halloween, right? Halloween is in Scorpio. Of course, it's about scaring people and dressing up in sexual, crazy ways and showing off your, lingerie and, dressing up as a vampire. Like, come on. That's Scorpio. Or why do you think, another good holiday would be, I think, yeah, St. Patrick's Day is in Pisces, if I'm right. What day is St. Patrick's Day? It's March 17th, something like that? No, well, Cinco de Mayo is in Taurus, which Cinco de Mayo is all about the drinking and the food and all that stuff, which is kind of Taurus. But I think if I remember right, St. Patrick's Day is literally in Pisces, which is all about dressing green and drinking your butt off until you can't literally follow. Yeah, March 17th, yeah. So, like, what else do you do in Pisces? You get effed up, like, you know what I mean? So, New Year's Eve, right? It's always in Capricorn. What is it? What is my New Year's resolution? What am I going to do to set the goal for the year? Capricorn. Or Christmas, right? A tradition that is the same every year. And we get all hyped up during Thanksgiving, which happens in Sagittarius, where we eat the biggest turkey we can and laugh and be excited for the holidays. But by the time we get to Christmas, we're so over it, we're over it, we just want to get the hell out of here. In Capricorn. So Valentine's Day, in my opinion, has never been the day about love. Not in my book, not as an astrologer, but more about the love that you share in all areas of a person or your significant other. Not just romance, but do we get along as people? Valentine's Day, I think for people that get along great, don't really care about Valentine's Day as if like, you didn't get me anything for Valentine's Day. It's like people can really get crazy about Valentine's Day because they're looking for that one excuse to make it a love day, when it's on the day in which it's more about the people and whether or not they get along. So it's really interesting. That's a whole tizzy to think about. And actually, if you're in the LA area, on February 15th at Libertine Hollywood, I'll be putting out the flyer in the next couple days. I'm going to be live doing a solar eclipse ceremony, live in person. We have hard tickets available, and I'll be live streaming it for $29.99. It's going to be super awesome. I'm going to be doing this huge solar eclipse ceremony, and then we'll do spiritual dance music live, and I'm going to be doing it live in Hollywood, and I'm doing it literally in this awesome place, and it's got a whole crystal floor, and we're going to be live streaming it for you. Or if you have hard tickets, if you're in the SoCal area, we're doing a full-blown ceremony where you can be there with us. We're doing crystal grids, we're doing a prayer, we're doing a meditation, we're doing all of it. So it's going to be super awesome there. So, there's a lot to think about right now with this energy. And I think the number one thing that I would say to everybody about it is, don't feel bad if it's all not together yet in your life. Don't feel bad that if you feel a little not fully hurrah. This is a very serious laying foundation time. It can be boring, and there can be the need for big escape. So you got to be careful to not tap into your subconscious / addictive personality traits, because we think we can escape the blandness by going to another world and going to that other place constantly. And I'm not saying don't go there. I'm just saying you need to watch how many times you do go there, because then it can become a truly addictive cycle of you wanting to leave the consciousness of this reality now, because you want to go to Disneyland energetically 24/7, which I'm not saying that you can't go. This is high vibe TV. I'm all about believing that you could be on a high vibe all the time, but what is a high vibe? A high vibe is first knowing what is the course of the frequency in front of you and how to ride that high. Not just, oh, high vibe is just I'm setting it up here and I'm only sitting in here and that's how I ride all the time. That'd be like saying, like, I'm only going to snow ski this way, but what happens in the middle of the summer and you're on the mountain? Are you going to still try and snow ski? Or are you going to get on a bicycle? Or are you going to get on a motorcycle? Or are you going to get on a boat and go in the ocean? I mean, it's like you got to know what's in front of you before you just start setting yourself that I always need to feel this way. And that's the problem with spirituality today. And that's the problem with where spirituality is going. Is spirituality is going into a place that especially is like, no, I have to be on this vibe all the time. Who said it like that? Like, the vibe changes a lot. And it's about having to find that high vibe in the unique situation of whatever the frequencies are changing with, and learning to adapt and learning to make adjustments. And, you know, it's hard, you know? I mean, this is on a whole nother separate note, but to be real with everyone, and actually I do want to look at camera with this one, but to be real with everybody, like, organizations, we see it in our government right now, and we see it in organizations outside of government, are all going through massive needs of change, right? So, like in the astrology community, right? It's extremely difficult because the organizations, I've said this loud and clear before, and I'll be nice, because I was harsh to them before, but I'll be real. They don't want to do anything new and exciting. I proposed a million things. They told me there's not enough time to do it. They have 5 months. They just don't want to do it. People don't want to change. People aren't ready in the world right now for change. People are not ready to go to new vibrations. And I get it, because the vibration right now is very hard and very settled, and it's not easy to rise that. So I can't get mad, I got to push it off. In jet skiing, the same thing's going on. I've had lots of conversations with other jet ski racers. The organizations and the way that they're run, they're all just, it doesn't make sense. They all need to be revamped. This is a massive time in people's life, and the same thing goes in the media. We're seeing it with the media and how it's got to change, and how journalists needs to change, and what is real. The only news I really read is my local newspaper now, because I at least know it's a story that's real. The guy I like is there. I see the pictures of the guy, and it's like we're at a time to where we are at a complete change when it comes to how organizations, how the world is, and we can be extremely frustrated that they're not going the way that we want them to go. And you know what? It's about learning, like, understanding it's okay, they don't get it. But this is where you have to be a way shower and show the way. And if you have the courage to show the way, if you have the courage to build it and change it and move into a new direction, you know what? You're going to do really good. But this is that moment. This is what's coming over, like especially coming into these eclipses. It's who's ready to show the way and who's ready to do what's always been done before. You know, South Node in Aquarius is, let's just keep doing it the way we've always done before, and let's not do anything new and innovative, and let's keep the organization together the way it's always been done, especially with Saturn and Capricorn. And guess what? At the end of the day, it's kind of like staring right in front of your face. I think that the universe right now is bringing massive amounts of energy that are asking for people to change, especially when it comes to bringing in new vibes, new energy, and changing platforms and positions that need to be changed. And the whole reason, well, not the whole reason, but one of the biggest reasons of why I started High Vibe TV, why I started Future Life, and why I'm starting another channel called Electric Generation is because in the DJ world, in the astrology world, and in the spiritual field, I feel like all three of those in my life, because I'm part of all three very intensely, are just old school, run by old school people, not innovative, not exciting anymore, boring, dull, done before, just standard YouTube videos. Here's your sun sign from me at my computer desk, and just not channeling and not changing the world and not inspiring, and DJs being like other DJs and taking pictures the same way and DJing the same tracks and DJing all the same way and don't even know how to DJ half the time, just trying to look cool. Like this is the world we live in now, is where I feel like we have reached a place to where, you know what, like we all have to step up and show the new way that it's gotta be. And so that's my talk today about new frequencies, the new inside frequency, and how it's gonna come out really powerful soon, because think of it like years. They're finally starting to come together, the inner and the outer. And that's what these eclipses are about, is inner and outer connection. And a solar eclipse on February 15th in Aquarius, in sextile to Uranus, its home planet, but with the south node there, it won't be as strong as the north node one. But it's an end to things that have been done time and time and time again, and new, innovative, and change that must come. And I'd be prepared for that as much as possible. So thanks so much for being part of this live show. Of course, you can still get me on the Leo King app with my daily astrology horoscopes every day, which of course is turning into Future Life literally any minute, which is going to be super awesome. And of course, please sign up for High Vibe TV. It's up above. You can click it, because I'm going to be doing a live daily show. We're building the other set for that. We also have this set, but we're testing out this set. So thanks for being part of kind of our test dummies for this new set and how we're working on things and so forth. But of course, follow everything here on the Leo King page. I'll always be broadcasting from here. I truly appreciate you. I truly appreciate you always being here and supporting me, even through my time as I'm going through a moment where it's been very hard for me to not be doing all my live content and pushing out a lot of content like I'm used to. All my content's just been on the app lately. I haven't been putting a lot out on YouTube. I haven't been putting out a lot on Facebook. And so it's because I've been building this whole new, brand and new vision, and it just is taking time. And you know what? It's frustrating, but it's exciting at the same time. So thanks so much. I truly appreciate it. I'm sending you all my best energy, and I will see you on the next show. You guys have a good one. Later.